So what we're looking for today is what we when I take a listing, I don't just throw it up there and hope it sells. Even in this crazy market where you know it's gonna sell, there's still things that I'm gonna tell you to do. So for example, we'll start here. I want you to go ahead and take off all your personal pictures. Things of like greater value, like I never want to see a cell phone out, and right now we don't have, we can't do open houses, right? But there is going to be agents coming, and rest assured, which actually I think is a benefit, is any agent that comes, the buyers or potential buyers or Cabrini, they're already fully qualified. And the licensed agent, they've passed the background check, so your home is safe. It's actually safer than it's ever been. But we want people, when they come in, we want them to see the house. I don't want them to see your pictures because it's so easy to be like, oh my God, look at such a cute family lives here, and I love that. I don't want them to see that. I want them to envision them, right? Because while there's only one seller, how many buyers, right? So we want to get the most for your home, not just what the last guy got. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Perfect. So here, every shelf, I don't want more than 1 to 3 items. So we're going to clean it up.
Okay.
I call it a head start on packing. Bathroom here. So typically right now what I'm doing is I'll list on a Tuesday, Wednesday. So even though I'm here today, we wouldn't list it today. We'll take it today, but we're not going to make it active until Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, we're setting appointments, and then Friday, Saturday, we'll show it, which is also nice because you're not having to get out of your house all the time, and things are selling quick enough, but we want to make sure it's ready. So like the bathroom that day, we're going to make sure the toilet seat's down, and don't freak out.
Okay.
Because I will get here and I will go through the house and make sure it's to my standards. So,
Okay.
but things like this, we're gonna start packing all that up.
Okay.
That makes sense. Perfect. So let's keep going. Ooh, look at that yard. So that's probably where I would spend a little bit of time, picking up all these kid toys. Because what if it's a new family and one of them can't get they can't get pregnant or whatever the reason is. We don't want, it's crazy, but we want them really to envision that this is their home. So things like when we can, obviously it's lived in, so I'm not telling you to pack everything, but we don't want like an over excessive wall of crosses. For the right buyer, that's gonna freak them out. If that's not what, if they're not crazy religious. They might believe in God, but, so we're gonna clean up this wall. Hello, welcome, come in. Oh, is this your cousin you told me about?
Yes, this is.
Oh, awesome.
She's visiting.
Awesome. All right, well, you get to be our critique, so we don't, but I won't take too much of her time so that you guys could get to, I think you guys are going out tonight, you said?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
It's Friday.
Woohoo! I love Fridays.
Go Friday.
It's not Friday.
Yeah. So we've now gone through the house, and I've started pointing out different areas, and I always assume I've already got the listing, even if they told me that I don't. So we'll go ahead and, okay. Well, perfect. All right, so I'll try to, this is the not so fun part, but, so one of the things I like to do is, there's a lot of realtors out there that have a generic presentation and everybody gets the exact same presentation. And mine kind of is like that too, but mine's actually very specific to your house. I want to know what's happening in your neighborhood, in your zip code, because maybe this side of town has been getting 5% above asking, but maybe this is getting 10-20%. We don't know that unless we have the actual numbers. Okay? So I'm gonna start, and I know we've already discussed a lot of this online over the phone, so thank you. So Heather, first off, does all this sound right? Your information, your spouse's information?
Yes.
Perfect. And I see here, so the house is, and I know we went through the 3 bedrooms, and that sounds like that was original from the property profile also pulled.
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome, and we have a 1-story bed. Obviously you're living in it. Now I know I've known you a while, but did you interview other agents?
We have been shopping around.
Oh, okay, no way. So who else have you interviewed or are planning on interviewing?
Well, my husband has interviewed someone from Sotheby's.
Oh, okay, yeah, awesome. Anyone I know?
Larry.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about Larry. Awesome. And so how did that go?
I told him that I wanted to meet with you, and whatever I felt comfortable, then we would talk afterwards and go from there.
Oh, perfect. Oh, dang here. David, can you join us? This is really important.
You're dating.
I'm so glad you showed up. It is so important to have the two of you here because I realize this is a big decision. I know you feel the connection with me and you have a connection with someone else. So I just want to make sure that I get all your questions answered. And by the end of the night, hopefully you're comfortable with what I have to say. All right. So tell me again. We're going to try to find you a home in the area, correct?
Yes. We want to upgrade.
Perfect. Just more space? Or
More space. Maybe we want to, instead of a 3-bedroom, maybe a 4-bedroom. We just want to have kids maybe one day down the road. Definitely, he needs an office. I need an office. I definitely want to keep a big backyard because I love to have animals and my chickens and my dogs. So that's very important to me. David has a lot of cars, so he needs to store his cars.
I do like your card.
Perfect. Okay. So tell me, in a perfect world, right? Because my job is taking the work away and making it happen. How soon would you want to be in your new home?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So hypothetically, based on kind of what we already talked about, if let's say we took the listing today, we made it live on Tuesday, and it sold next weekend, are you prepared to move in 30 days?
Yeah, we could do
Yeah,
that.
'cause my car needs to be at the garage.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you will have through this weekend to kind of start packing, getting things ready, the things we talked about, and that really just gives you a head start in moving. It's okay if you start putting all these boxes in the garage. Because it's kind of expected when people see homes that there's already boxes in the garage. Right. And have you seen homes that you like so far?
We've looked on Zillow and Redfin, but nothing's really caught our eye.
Perfect. Right. And you did talk to the lender we talked about, or?
Yes.
Perfect. So we're ready to go. Perfect. Well, I would say as soon as we list the house next Tuesday, that's because in this market, you almost don't want to look right until you are really ready, because by the time you blink, they're gone. I mean, it's moving so fast. But I do have a huge secret on how to make sure that we get you that house that you want to buy. It's actually not a secret, but I feel, coming from a listing agent, I know what I look for in buyer's agents, right? And you'd be amazed how many offers I get, and they just kind of throw them in my email, and I never even get a call. And it's like, I guess they're hoping they stick. So I have a big secret, which is very simple. It's just communication. And before we even write that offer, we're going to call them. I'm going to ask them what their seller needs. I mean, we are going to do everything to get you that bigger house. That sounds
Good.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. All right. And then you had told me you owe like $200 on this home?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. And I know, you guys have been in the industry and other agents, but have you ever thought of selling the home yourself?
It just seems like too much work for us.
That's a lot of work
Yeah.
to do ourselves.
Perfect. Well, and I know you mentioned that years ago, David, that you had sold your own home, and I know
Thank
now.
you.
Yeah, now you guys have been here 20 years, and I just tell you, like way back when, the contract was like this. Now it's like, if you were to print it, things have changed a lot. So I'm very glad that you feel confident that you need a professional. Okay. Let's see. And have you ever? I know you have a lot of equity in the home. Have you ever thought about carrying the note for the part of the note for the buyer? In other words, not cashing out all your money for your new home.
I never thought about that.
Oh, no, I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
You want to take that money and put it down. I
Yeah.
think we had said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I still gotta ask because you never know if the market were to change and it's not selling. Like those are things we need to make sure that I know what you're willing to do or not. Okay. So my next question is, how will you show the home? And I know we kind of talked a little bit already as we walked around. So I can't stress enough that especially the day or two that we're going to show the home, that you're removing, or at least completely out of sight, personal items, electronics, medication, any guns. I've literally had to get to homes and hide things.
Oh.
And in this COVID, like I said, a lot has changed. So you don't have as much random people coming in the home, but nevertheless, we don't know the agents coming if one of their clients has sticky fingers. We just don't. So it's really important to me that you guys hide all that stuff. And as I told you, Heather, I always do a walkthrough that morning. And if I do see, for example, a phone laying out, the closest place that I could hide it, look there if you can't find it when you get home. So sometimes if there's a linen closet, I'll put it in the bottom of the linens, just because it's my job to make sure I'm protecting you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any questions so far?
No, so far so good. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll continue on here. Possibly. Okay, so I know that there's no HOA here, correct? I
No.
didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I will tell you most everything because you almost sell your home in two pieces, right? And we're gonna get to that. I know that's you stress. What's the word? We're gonna get to that. But we almost sell it in two pieces. So we list it, we have our price, but then the buyer has the opportunity to do any and every any and every inspection they want. Obviously this is an older home and sometimes there might be things that we don't see that the home might need, so they will have an opportunity to ask for repairs, and at that point you can accept, decline, negotiate, everything is negotiable. And for the most part, if you do agree to anything, all fees come out of escrow, but there is a couple upfront fees. So for example, in Ventura, we are required to do a sewer lateral inspection. Sorry, that one actually comes out of escrow. But the city report, that one they do want paid up front. And they either will call you for a credit card or check. Is that okay? Yeah.
Should be
Perfect.
fine.
Perfect. And regardless of when the home sells, we have to provide that anyway, so we'll have it ready. Okay. All right, now we're getting to the funner part. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 means your home looks like a model, move-in ready, everything is in immaculate condition. 1 means we need to demolish it and start over. How would you rate your home?
A 7.
7. How about you?
That's 8.
An 8? Oh, okay, he likes me to All right, and so tell me, why not a 10? What is missing to make it a 10?
I think the backyard could use some landscaping,
Okay, so a little landscaping, all
and probably the front yard too.
Front yard too.
Yeah.
It's mostly the landscaping, right?
Yeah.
right? Okay. Perfect. All right. And that's something that, maybe going to Green Thumb and picking it up a little, adding some flowers could add a lot of value. Versus if you told me, I think the house needs new piping, that's a big repair that could, affect your ultimate goal. Okay. And did you decide, are you wanting to leave or take the washer dryer?
We're gonna take it.
Take it out.
It's new, yeah.
Whatever she said, it's fine.
And then what about the fridge?
Well, we just bought that like 6 months ago with our stove.
Okay. Now you say stove, because typically the stove is an item that does stay. Are you thinking of taking the stove?
No, because I want to if I do get a house, I want to redo the kitchen and I want a bigger range stove.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, so fridge, washer, dryer, we're taking everything.
But it's
else.
negotiable with the fridge. Like if they really want it, I can negotiate that.
Okay. Perfect. Good to know. And it might not come. Maybe the new house has a range you love and it doesn't match. I mean.
Yeah, that's true.
Perfect. So, do you absolutely have to sell to be able to purchase your next home?
Yes, we
Yeah.
You do. Okay.
We need a down payment.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You want to get at least that 20%? I think we had talked
Yeah.
about. Perfect. Okay. Now, this question might sound silly, but it's an honest question. Are you gonna price your home to sell?
Well, I feel like. What do you think?
Yes, of course we wanna sell it,
Yeah.
so we should price it right?
Yeah.
Well, and I say that because even in this market, right, the one thing that'll cause any and every home to sell is the right price, right? So even though, homes are selling above, we can't, if in this neighborhood they're going for 6, you might get 650, but listing it at 7, 8, that's not realistic, right? And the higher the price, maybe the more room we have, the lower the price, the less room we have. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. And so that's why I asked that, to make sure that, and everything I'm gonna tell you in a minute, I'm gonna back it up. So you're gonna feel confident that when you say, well, that guy listed at 800 and it still hasn't sold, well, I'm gonna show you why. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. And then my favorite of all time question is, do you feel confident that I can get this home sold?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely.
Perfect. All right, so now I'm going to go through this, and this is where I spent my time. And then if it all sounds great, then we'll get the contract going. And don't freak out. Like I said, we'll take the listing today, but we're not going to actually put it on the market till next week, so you have time to clean it up. Okay, so first off, I always include my resume, because even though, and I really appreciate you guys having me out, but even though you know me, I want you to know that you know me professionally. So when you have a minute, you can go over my resume. Next, I'm not one of those agents that wants to spend a ton of time selling you on my company, me and so forth. I want to make sure I'm meeting your needs, because ultimately, that's the only thing that matters, right? If I can't sell your home, I failed you. But if you're interested in knowing more about my company, so here's a bunch of different great resources. Talks about who we are in the county, really worldwide, some of our affiliates, different testimonials. So when you have a minute, you can kind of glance through that. Next, we're going to talk about the property profile. So this is specific to your home, and there's really only one page I focus on, and some of this is where I get the information and confirmed it with you, bedroom size, so forth. One thing I always point out to my buyers, and let me be careful and say, I'm really not even allowed to talk to you about this, but that's the problem. Nobody's talking about it, and it can have huge tax consequences in the future, and that's your vesting. So here I see that you have joint tenants, but now you guys are married and talking about kids. And so when we purchase that new home, well, I cannot tell you how to be vested. I am going to give you, right here at the end is the sheet that talks the different ways that you can hold title. And if you're not sure, I would suggest you call your CPA, your attorney. I know you guys were talking about a trust, or your financial advisor. But I can't stress enough, and this is one of the things where I'm going to stress that it's important that you reach out to one of those professionals and get advice on how you should be vested. Does that make sense?
I like that.
Yeah.
Good, thank
Yeah.
you. And this is where they go, I never knew about this. And I will tell you, legally I can't tell you. If you ask escrow, because it's going to be on the escrow sheet, they can't advise you. But if you don't pick, it's either going to be blank or they're going to add a default. And so just make sure you look into that for me, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. All right, so next we have, so this is my one-line CMA. And these next 20 pages are this one line. So as a realtor, this is all I use. But for you, so here it'll list the property, what's active, what's pending, and what has closed. Because what's active and what they're asking for to what has closed, depending on the market, could be worlds apart, right? Every seller wants to get this for their home. Every buyer wants to pay this. So there's that gap. And to be a good agent, we gotta meet in the middle, right? What's gonna work for the buyer and the seller? Because you could have the best home in the world, but if there's no buyer, you still got the best home in the world, right? And it sounds like you're ready for your next home. So here, and you can see by looking in here, when you have time, you can, I know you guys are wanting to go out, so I don't wanna take too much of your time. When you have a minute, if one of these are concerned, like why did this one sell for 400 and this one for 5? Well, everything is here to back it up. So this one sold for 4, you could kind of see maybe wasn't taken care as much, needs a roof, and I don't know if it needs a roof, obviously, but by looking at the picture, sometimes when it looks like a shingle's falling off, maybe the roof needs some work. This one over here that sold for $525, I mean, look at it. It looks like they completely redid it. They must have painted it. And typically, I might come in and tell you to do little things like packing, add some flowers, stuff that's not expensive that can help get you more money. Because even if we know it's going to sell, like, you want to get as much as you can, right? But some of these you could see like, oh wow, it needs a ton of work. That's how they justify that price. Any questions so far? No?
No.
No?
You disclose almost everything.
Yeah.
We need to know.
Okay. Anything at all you can think of before I get to the part you've been waiting for.
What do you think our house is worth?
Oh, well, that's the last tab.
Okay.
And we're gonna get that,
Okay.
but any other questions you might have? Anything you can think of before I?
The price of the house.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And based on kind of what I've already shown you here in some of the pictures, that you know the 400 was a total looked like a fixer-upper, the 525 looked amazing. Where do you think your home should be sold? What do you think is a fair price?
510.
510.
Yeah, we could low, right?
Lower?
Because we want to
Yeah.
try to get higher. So, I mean, I think I would be okay with that.
With that.
Yeah.
510.
Yeah.
510. Okay. Okay. All right. So now I'll turn the page. So, based on the research I've done, and I already kind of had an idea of what your home was. Really, there's really only one number that matters to you, right? Everybody wants to say, what are we going to list it for, this or that? But ultimately, and I've highlighted here, if we list it at $499, okay? And hear me out for a second. If we list it at $499, based on your average fees, and these are just an estimate, and this is, you know, all the broker fees, my commission, my companies, the other company, the other broker, everything is included in here, escrow fees, title fees. This is what you would net. And you would net about $300, right? After you pay all your fees, including the $100 you have left on the mortgage, you would have about $300 to put down on your new home. And the reason I would list that $499 over $5 or even $505 is because that $5,000 could cost you thousands. And here's why. When you got to think about, you're just one seller, right? Would you agree? Right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a home sell in this neighborhood in a while. So you're one seller. But from a buyer, when a buyer is searching, they're searching 4 and under, 450 and under, 5 and under. So even putting it like $1 under 500, you're going to capture everybody over 500, under 500, right? Versus somebody that doesn't want to look at 550 or under. You see the gap there, friends? But most people, if they're qualified for 500, they're probably qualified for 510, 520, so forth. But if we priced it so much $1 about 5 or over, we're gonna miss a whole pool of buyers. And everything I do from staging your home to when we list it to when we make it active, everything has its purpose in my book, right? I'm very strategic on this is my marketing plan. This is how we're gonna get your home sold and get you into the new home. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So ultimately, you set the price, but my professional advice would be the $499 to get you $300 in your pocket and into that bigger home. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what we'll do here is I'm just gonna make these lines actually on my CMA, because I have to prove to my broker that I've done my due diligence in making sure I'm backing up what this price. So if I could have you, Heather, just write the price that you're comfortable with based on my recommendations or whatever you decide to go to, and then just sign and date it. Perfect. Awesome. So now, that's the bulk of it. Most everything I'm going to send you electronically, other than we'll do just the contract real quick, and then we'll get you out to your party. I am going to be sending you a lot of documents, and most of it's just disclosure. Somewhere along the line, someone got sued or sue happy, and those just they're just they're most, so they're not the generic, but they have to be included in the contract. And then I'm going to give you homework. So you have these 2 forms as you lay in bed to complete. We call it the SPQ and the TDS. So this will be your only homework, in addition to obviously packing up. And then we said, are you comfortable if we, even though we're doing the contract today, if we don't list it till Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
So you could pack over the weekend?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And then we said we're doing the $499. Perfect. So we'll get this, go ahead and we'll get this contract signed, and then you can go enjoy your Friday night.
Sounds
Sounds
good to you?
good. Sounds
Okay.
good. So
Sounds good to me.
I'm ready to go to our new home.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. So where are you guys going tonight?
To celebrate, have a dinner.
Yeah.
Because you don't live around here, right? I think you're from out of town?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very fun. Tuesday when I come back, but that way the realtors have a way in and out. Oh, and we didn't talk about timing, so I will also set the box so that people could only access it certain hours. That way, especially because I know you work a lot of late nights, and I don't want you to feel like, oh my gosh, realtors have access to my home at night. Absolutely not. I'll take the extra step and make sure. I think we decided 6 to 10. So those will be the only hours on the weekend, and obviously if somebody wants to see it at 6:30, I can tell the 6 o'clock agent, hey, wait around, so forth. But does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna remember to write those hours. We'll put the lockbox sign. We'll probably go up around Tuesday. If anything happens and you're feeling like, oh my God, it's happening so quick, just let me know. And then next Saturday we can plan on looking at homes for your purchase. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
All
Well,
right.
thank you.
Excited.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Nice to meet you.